Hi, everybody. Welcome to On the Rocks Total Entertainment, coming to you live from Las Vegas. We're coming on just a little bit early. Just kind of wanted to get a jump start on the evening. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday night. Tonight, I have a very special guest. This is a band. We have one member of the band tonight called Living Dreams. And this is a great band. I'm looking forward to talking to Ron, and let's get started. How's it going, Ron?
Oh, it's going great. How about yourself?
It's going great here in Vegas. It's a little chilly, but it's a great Sunday
It's warm
night.
down here.
I
It's
know,
warm down
right?
here.
Great Sunday night. So let's get started. Your band was formed in 2020, correct?
2021.
Okay. So let's talk about how this rock and roll dream got started for you.
Well, I retired from the military in 2017, and I was in North Carolina, and I was helping some local bands out with stage setups and selling merch for them and stuff. And I used to play in a band back in the 80s.
Okay.
When I was in high school. And when I joined the military in 87, I just stopped playing altogether. It gave everything up. And then after I retired, helping them out, the blood just started boiling and I wanted to get back into it. So I bought a couple bass guitars, bought an amplifier while I was living in the States. And then I was going to college full time, and spring break came around. I was too old to go to Fort Lauderdale. So I was married to a Colombian. Yeah, I was married to a Colombian before, and decided to come to Colombia on vacation. Came down here and fell in love with it. And then I just decided to move down here. The day after the semester ended, I came back down on vacation again for 2 more weeks. And then July of 2018, I came back down and started looking for a place to live. Then I moved down here, and I started busting my ass trying to learn some music. And actually, the first song I learned was Sweet Child of Mine, which was it took me a month to learn that, because you figure I was a beginner all over again.
Right, classic.
Yeah, so here I took one of the hardest songs to learn, and it took me over a month, and I still screwed it up when I was playing it live with my friend's band. He used to have me come in and play a couple songs with them whenever he'd play, and I'd play that. I'd play It's My Life by Bon Jovi. I learned that fairly easy, and I kept butchering the Sweet Child of Mine. I mean, I've got it down perfect now, but
I'm sure after a million times.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, and I just playing with local bands, and a metal band wanted me to fill in for them. So I played with them for a while and stuff. And I grew up, 80s was my high school years. So that was, I'm 55 now. So 80s was the only music of course 70s, but 80s was my genre for music. And I knew all the big songs. I mean, going to concerts, my first concert was 84, Ozzy Osbourne, $12.50, see Ozzy.
Yeah, that's why I wore my Poison shirt tonight.
Yeah. And so I kept talking to my buddies, bands that I was playing, and hey, let's play this song, let's play that song. No, we're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And all the bands are playing the same songs down here. And I was trying to mix it up, and finally I said, screw it. And I've been writing songs and everything. And so I had a bunch of songs. I probably got 40 songs written now. And I said, screw it, I'm just going to form my own band. So I ended up forming my own band and going through multiple different musicians in the band. Down here, people will want me to pay them to be in the band for their time. I said, because I know a lot of professional bands in America and touring bands and everything. And I've talked to them, and they're like, nobody gets paid until you sell music. And that's exactly the way I was thinking of it. Well, that's not how it goes down here in Colombia. And Oh, yeah, we forgot to I live in Columbia now,
Right,
Cartagena, Colombia. Yeah, yeah, we didn't put that out, so people might be wondering.
that's
But
okay.
yeah, and I was like, well, maybe that's why there's not many professional bands out of Columbia. And so I started just going through musicians left and right, and finally I've got a setup. We're actually playing next weekend in Medellin. We got 2 shows out there, and we're looking at Bogota and Cali, Bucaramanga, other big cities and stuff. I mean, rock and roll and metal is huge down here.
Yeah, let's talk about that for a second. Um, like what is the scene like for the viewers at home who probably have maybe never been to Columbia, you know? Tell us
Yeah.
about your experience with these bands and where you guys are at metal like in the present time.
My in Cartagena here, rock and roll isn't that popular. Mostly vallenato, salsa, merengue, bachata, and reggaeton. But you get to Medellin and Bogota and the bigger cities. Cartagena's got a population of about 1 million people. Medellin's got 5 million. It's bigger than New York, than Los Angeles. Bogota's 10 million. It's about the same as New York City. And the rock and roll and metal scene is huge there in those 2 cities, at Cali as well. And so it's just depends on where you're at, because like Cartagena's on the coast, so it's coastal music. But you get into like Medellin and Bogota. First time I went to Bogota, I couldn't believe it. Girls wearing the shorts with the fishnet stockings, army boots, t-shirts, sleeves cut off.
Right.
And I was like, rock and roll is huge.
Yeah. Would you say that metal is more of an underground type of music, or
not in the cities here? It's like my drummer, he also plays in another band. He plays in a metal band, the thrash metal and stuff. I mean, I like the 80s metal, Judas Priest, Ozzy, Metallica, that stuff. The new stuff I'm not that into and stuff. I just love 80s rock and roll.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
this new stuff,
I agree.
with the screaming and stuff like that. My youngest son, he's into that. He sang in some bands doing that stuff.
Okay.
And I was like, that's not talented. That's just screaming.
Right. Yeah, there's definitely a difference.
Oh yeah, definitely a difference.
Yeah, let's talk a little bit about now I found you on Spotify. And like I said, that was a true story, what I just did on my live. I was driving to work one morning. I work on the Strip here in Las Vegas. And all of a sudden, I'm listening to, because I have a playlist, and then they like to throw stuff in. And then one of your songs came on. I'm like, whoa, wait a second.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah. So, that's kind of how I found you, was through Spotify.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah. And I just loved your 80s. Yeah, your 80s metal sound. And I know you have 2 songs that you did release, because they're on there. Locked
Up and Where Would We Be Now?
Yeah, can you tell us a little bit about, let's go with Locked Up first. Let's talk a little bit about, I'm sure I know what it's about, probably pandemic. It sounds like to me.
No, actually.
No, okay, so tell us a little bit about that song.
It's like individuals getting involved with drugs and crime. And I mean, I'll pull the lyrics up here. Just like, you live a life, one full of crime. You've got your sentence, you must do your time. Life isn't easy. There's 2 roads to take. Which one you choose can presume your fate. You now have years to look over your life, determine where you go and if it's right. Life isn't fair, decisions to be made, results will vary, just live day by day. So it's pretty much somebody that's involved with crime and drugs and that type of lifestyle, in and out of jail, prison, whatever.
Yeah, those are really strong lyrics.
Yeah, it baffles people. I just sit down, I can knock out a song in 15, 20 minutes. I sit, usually when I'm doing it, I'll sit down, drinking some whiskey, a scotch, and I'll just have 80s music on and I'll have it real low just to get work. And once I'm listening to music, words will start flowing. Like we're working on a new song right now, Dancing with the Devil. And actually, I was listening to Van Halen, Running with the Devil. And I was like, I'm going to come up with a song, Dancing with the Devil.
That's cool.
And yeah, and we've only rehearsed it a couple times, and we're actually going to play it this weekend, hopefully.
Oh,
We got
good.
rehearsals
I can't wait to hear it. It's funny.
Yeah, that'll be.
It's funny how, Ryan, you mentioned your writing style. It's funny because I'm a writer and I write almost the exact same way you do. I write to heavy metal. And when I start writing, it just comes out. Like I can't stop it.
Yeah, the words just start flowing. And usually I'll just come up with the title and I'll come up with the title and then I'll come up with the chorus. And then once I come up with the chorus, then I'll just start writing verses. And it also, people don't realize songwriting, all it is poetry. That's all it is poetry. And you just putting a little story together.
Right. But people think it's easy, but I mean, and I know, I mean, we have an idea on paper, but it doesn't mean it's gonna okay, it's done.
Oh no. Oh yeah. And then coming up with the music for it. And actually I've got 2 guitarists right now. One of them graduated from Berkeley out of Boston. He lives here in Cartagena. The other guitarist, he graduated from university up in Barranquilla. That's where he lives. Shakira's home city. It's about an hour and a half. That's where my singer and he lives. And he's a phenomenal guitarist as well. And both of actually this week when they come down, it's going to be the first time they meet each other.
Oh, wow.
And I was talking to my singer, Rob, and he was telling me, he's like, because he just, because the other guitarist, he had some issues and he left the band last year. And Rob, my singer, called me the other day. He's like, I got some news. Leo wants back in the band. And he said he's 100% going to go forward with this. And with these two, with their playing ability, I feel the songwriting, the music is just going to be phenomenal with these two. Plus, he plays keyboards, so that'll help out with some stuff as well. Oh,
yeah. Definitely versatility for a band is, even if, I don't care if you're thrash, metal, rock, pop, it's definitely going to help you guys down the road.
And it's like I was talking with my other guitarist, the one that lives here in Cartagena, Camacho, and we got talking like with Guns N' Roses. They there's like Slash put some music around Axl's voice, the melody and everything. And that's what he wants to try to do with our music. As our singer, he can sing you heard him sing. He can sing real high. He's got that 80s sound to him.
Wow. Like when I heard that, I'm like, yeah. Because I mean, let's face facts. There's a lot of bands from the 80s that are making comebacks.
Oh, I know. I when I go back to the States, my buddy plays lead guitar for Stephen Pearcy.
Oh, Stephen lives here.
Yeah.
He's actually a super cool guy. I've met him in the 80s, believe it or not, but he has got a solid rock band. I mean, he is not playing.
Eric Ferentinos, his guitarist. I met him back in 2002 or so when I was in the military at Fort Bragg. Rat came and he was playing lead guitar for him. And I met him after the show and drank beer with him, and we followed each other on MySpace and everything back when we had MySpace.
Yeah, when you say MySpace, I'm like,
yeah. And then
we all had MySpace.
Yeah, when I was over in Afghanistan, he was sending me stuff. He sent me a CD of Stephen's favorite songs at Round and Round when they were playing it in a garage. That's where it was recorded. and he sent me guitar picks and everything. And then last year I was in the States, Christmas, December, and they were supposed to play. And then Steven came down with COVID. Eric messaged me, he said, hey, Steven just came down with COVID. Don't let anybody know it hasn't been released or anything. Our show had to get canceled. He said, hopefully you're in town the next time we come through. And it just so happened, I went back to the States in May and they were playing in Massachusetts, where I'm originally from. And I contacted Eric. I said, hey, I'm in town. I saw you guys are coming. He said, I'll put you on the guest list. So I showed up and hung out with him, and he brought me up to the green room afterwards and hung out with Steven, and we got talking and everything. Awesome guy.
That's great. Yeah, his band is super solid.
Yeah,
I was supposed to see him the last time they were here, but I had a prior interview and there was no way I could reschedule it. So at some point I definitely want to meet. I got to see Steven while I was at an event, and unfortunately, I mean, we kind of did this. So hopefully I'll be able to sit with him and maybe chat with him a little bit next. I mean, he lives here, but you know, I mean, he has a solid band and they will be out on tour this summer. So super excited for that.
I even talked to him about coming down to Columbia. I said, my band will open for you.
Oh yeah, that's great, man. I mean,
once
super
we get
cool.
Yeah, once we start, because I've got a bunch of bands in the States that want to come down here and play. It's just once we start touring around, making connections and stuff and talking with promoters and stuff, then we might be able to get something taken care of.
Right. If you guys maybe hop on a tour with somebody.
Yeah. And I've got bands in America waiting for us to come to America, so they want to play with us as well.
Yeah, and that's awesome.
I know some promoters, they said, you guys come up here, just let me know. And he says, we'll make some phone calls, see who's touring.
Oh yeah, for sure. Okay, so tell me about your inspirations musically.
What really, I mean, I played trumpet when I was in band in elementary school, middle school. And then I ended up getting braces. I switched to baritone horn. And then when I was in high school, when I started learning the bass, I played the bass guitar in the high school jazz band. And I forced myself to read bass clef because when I played trumpet and baritone horn, I did it all in treble clef. So I taught myself to read bass clef and everything, just to learn the music and stuff like that. And what really got me into bass guitars, actually hearing Rudy Sarzo with Quiet Riot, Metal Health, Metal Health and Come On Feel the Noise. When I heard those and I heard that bass, and then Crazy Train, and of course he played with Ozzy. He didn't record Crazy Train with Ozzy, but he toured with him playing that with Randy Rhoads.
It's so funny that you mentioned Quiet Riot. I met Rudy Sarzo. I
just met him in May.
Yeah.
It was funny.
We know Alex Grassi. He lives here. He's a super cool guy.
Yeah.
We see him around town at shows a lot. I mean, that band is solid. I mean, they put on some great shows. They're going to be touring again this summer.
I was at the sound check. I was at the sound check, and Rudy left his guitar strap in his hotel room. And he was asking Alex if he had one. And I said, I've got one of my basses out in my truck, and I've got a strap. He said, can I borrow it just for sound checks? Sure. So I brought it in. He used it for sound check, and we were talking and everything. Awesome guy.
Yeah.
Great guy.
That whole band is really personable.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, just great.
Yeah.
So Quiet Riot's one of your influences, Stephen Pearcy.
Yeah.
What was the first show you ever saw as a kid?
Ozzy and Accept.
Yeah.
Ozzy Osbourne and Accept, May of 1984, Bark at the Moon Tour.
Wow.
Did you get that?
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah, it was funny because my parents didn't like the idea that you're going to see a devil worshiper and all this stuff. Yeah, you know how it is back then. But yeah, Jakey Lee on guitar, that guy was phenomenal.
Yeah, I read in your bio that Jakey Lee and Randy Rhoads were big influences
Oh yeah,
in you. Yeah, Jakey Lee, man, I'll tell you a story real quick. I mean, we're talking rock and roll, so I'll tell my story.
Yeah.
I saw an Ozzy show back in Chicago, and Dokken actually opened up. Okay, this is when the original Dokken, you know, they were still solid. So Ozzy comes on. Okay, we're not even into the first song. Okay, Jakey Lee comes out and he's drinking something, and we're about 20 rows back, and this friend of mine, she's like, "Is he drinking Crown Royal?" I'm like, "No way." So at that time I had binoculars. Okay, I know it's 80s old school. Anyway,
yeah.
so I look at my binoculars. I'm like, "Holy crap!" He was drinking a whole bottle of Crown Royal. He took one big chug and he fell back. Like he passed out cold.
Wow.
They stopped the show. Ozzy comes out and says, excuse me, we have an emergency. We have to take Jakey Lee to the hospital. You know, I don't know if that's how he talks or whatever. But anyway, he said, we got to take Jakey Lee to the emergency. We've had an emergency situation. We will reschedule this show. He does one of these and walks off the stage. Wow. And I'm looking at my friend. I'm like, did this just happen?
Jesus.
So yeah, they rescheduled that show like 4 months later. I don't even think I went.
Oh, wow.
I think I gave my tickets to somebody.
We played last year at Hard Rock Cafe down here, and I bought a 12-pack of water, and my singer and I drank the whole 12-pack during the show, and we got done. My mouth was so dry. When I'm playing, as I played and been drinking beer and realized at the end of the show, wow, I fucked up on this, or I fucked up on that.
Right.
And I'm like, I want to just drink water when I'm playing. Especially if I'm playing a full show. If I go up and play a song or two with some band, that's one thing. But if I'm doing a full show, especially with my band, I want to be 100%. After the show, it's game on.
Right. I mean, you have to think of it this way. The 80s metal scene, rock scene was the party scene.
Okay? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Now we're in 2023. Okay. We're out of pandemic. All those 80 bands were at home writing, doing whatever.
Yeah.
People are leading a different lifestyle.
Oh, yeah.
In 23.
Yeah. And I mean, look at all these bands from back in the 80s. I mean, Nikki Sixx died. They revived him. I mean, that was heroin. And I mean, all the musicians with the alcohol, I mean, the ones that died from alcohol poisoning and stuff. Kurt Cobain, I mean, he was 90s.
Right.
Well, he committed suicide, but drugs and stuff were involved.
Yeah. It's just good to have these bands are giving a fresh perspective on a healthy lifestyle. Yeah. Which I think is great.
I mean, shoot, I'm sitting here drinking scotch and I smoke cigarettes. I mean, and everybody, all my friends.
You're okay. You're fine.
Yeah. All my friends back in the States, you live in Columbia. How's the Coke down there? I don't know. I've never done Coke in my life, and I don't plan on it.
My God. Yeah, know that would be the first thing they would ask, right?
Oh, yeah.
That's crazy.
I mean, look at the night we were playing at Hard Rock Cafe was the night the drummer for the Foo Fighters died in Bogota.
Oh, my God. I'll tell you, I hate to keep telling stories like this, but I was actually at a show that was actually at Alita's Way and my friends Crashing Wayward. They had a show at the Hard Rock Cafe on the Strip. Okay. The band also, Bravo Delta, is a great band. They were playing as well. And the drummer came up to me and I said, "What's going on?" He goes, oh, Taylor Hawkins just died. I'm like, what? I mean, this is right before my band Crashing Wayward is going on stage.
No kidding.
And like, we're talking like the whole room was just like, oh my God. I mean, it was
Wow.
such an impactful moment. And yeah, I mean, I think everybody remembers where they were when Taylor Hawkins died.
Yeah, because we just got done playing, and the sound engineer came up to us. He said, "Hey, Foo Fighters are in Bogota, and the drummer just friggin' died." We're like, "Holy shit!" And so, I mean, that's our first big show together as a band. It was the night that Taylor Hawkins dies.
Like I said, everybody in the business is gonna remember where they were.
Yeah.
When Taylor Hawkins died.
Just like 9/11.
Yeah.
Everybody remembers exactly where they were at for 9/11.
Exactly. But moving on to Happier Fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, like where would we be now? That song, the other song that we have on Spotify.
Yeah, the next one is Where Would We Be Now?
I wrote that about my father. He died, my stepfather. He died Christmas Day, 2013. And I wrote that about him. And tears, just writing it, tears were shed. And the guys wanted me to sing it. I said, there is no way at all I can sing this. It's too sentimental. And the very last verse in that, I'm talking it. They said, Ron, you got to do something in the song. So we decided for me to talk the last verse.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful
And actually, we're going to play it next weekend. This is going to be the first time it's ever been played live.
Yay. That's awesome.
I had to relearn the song because we recorded it summer of 2021. And I have not played it since then.
Oh, wow.
And I just sat down this weekend and just went over the song just to relearn the whole, because I had to learn the whole song. I haven't played it in a year and a half now. But
that's great. Once you guys start playing out, I mean, I can't wait till you guys come to the States.
Oh yeah, we can't either.
I
was talking with my singer. My singer speaks English. The guitarist in Barranquilla speaks English. The guitarist here in Cartagena, he speaks some English, and the drummer, he's trying to learn. So and plus with my broken Spanish, we communicate and stuff. But I was talking to my singer the other day, and he said, hopefully within the next 6 to 8 months, we're playing in America.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great goal, though.
Yeah, the first album we're going to do is going to be an EP. So we've got 2 songs now, probably do 4 more songs, have a 6-song EP. That way we can sell that at shows as well.
Right.
So right now we're working on Dancing with the Devil. I got another one, Valkyrie, Take Me to Valhalla. I've been watching a lot of Vikings movies. And
I know, it sounds like it with that.
Yeah. And I just sent the band the lyrics, and my singer writes back and he's like, holy shit, I love these lyrics.
That's great though.
That's
so awesome.
I've got another one, Modern Day Cowboys. It's pretty much being in a band, trying to make ends meet. I mean, living in cheap hotels, staying in cheap hotels,
right?
Eating minimal food just to pay for stuff and everything. So
yeah,
hopefully those 3 songs and maybe another song, and we'll have the EP done.
That's great. Yeah, because I definitely want to have you back on when all that stuff is, I'll have you back on later in the summer.
Hopefully we can get with the whole band together.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That would be great if we could do that. Let's talk about the first record that you've ever bought with your own money.
Oh my God.
This one always stumps everybody. I don't know why.
Probably Saturday Night Fever. I was big into the disco in the 70s.
Oh yeah, I think all of us had that little bit.
Oh yeah.
Closet disco-ness in us.
because I mean, I'd go roller skating. I mean, you talk roller skating now, nobody knows what the hell you're talking about.
I know.
I'd go
My
roller
God.
skating, playing Donna Summer on the radio.
I used to go to all night skates. It would start at 10 o'clock at night and it would end at 7 o'clock in the morning.
Oh my God, I would have loved to do something like that. But the thing
Oh
is,
my God, so much fun.
I'm flat foot, and when I'd come home from roller skating, I'd have a blister like there was no
Oh
tomorrow.
yeah.
The bottom of my
You
right
could never,
foot.
you could never escape blisters. I'm sorry.
Yeah. And one
But-
night I peeled one off. I laid in my bed crying. Yeah. I mean, shoot, I was 14, 15 years
Oh my
old.
gosh.
I didn't know any
Such
better.
great memories from that
Yeah.
time. But like, as far as like the first record that I ever bought with my own money, was Fleetwood Mac Rumors.
Awesome album.
Very first
Awesome album.
record I bought. And I still have it to this day.
Yeah, I've still got all of my albums.
Yeah.
Yeah. Saturday Night
Vinyl
Fever,
is still hot right now.
I was back in the States back in September, October. My visa expired. I had to go back and get a new visa. I could not believe the cost of albums nowadays.
Yeah.
$30, $40, $50. I was like, holy
Do you
shit.
remember here? Let me ask you this. Do you remember those big packs that we could order? It was like you could pick 30 albums.
Columbia House,
Yes. Columbia House.
all for a
You-
penny.
Yeah, all for a penny. And I
Um,
mean, you could order 8 tracks, you could order cassettes, or you could order vinyl.
yeah,
I mean, when I got that package in the mail as a kid, I thought it was Christmas.
oh yeah, I remember I bought Lita Ford, Dancing on the Edge. I had never heard of her before, and it said rock and roll and everything, and she used to play with Joan Jett, and I knew who Joan Jett was. I said, I'm gonna get this. So I ordered it. It came in. I recorded it on a cassette tape. My buddy and I were cruising around. I threw it in. He's like, who the hell is this? And I told him, he's like, holy shit. And it just started getting passed around town, and everybody was in love with Lita Ford.
Oh, I know. It's crazy. I mean,
That was
I was
before
just-
she sang
I was
with
just-
Ozzy.
yeah, I was just thinking of that the other day, the Columbia House stuff. I'm like, wow. I mean, how far have we come,
Yeah,
as not music fans,
yeah,
it's crazy.
yeah, it is.
First concert that I ever went to, then you can tell me yours. First concert that I went to was Cheap Trick.
Mine,
Yeah, what about you?
Ozzy and Accept.
Oh, okay.
Ozzy
So
and
yeah, I
Accept.
think you said that before. But yeah, mine was Cheap
Yeah.
Trick. I mean, unbelievable.
Yeah, I've seen it. I've seen them a couple times.
Yeah, Rick Nielsen and his 50 guitars, he brought every guitar out.
Oh
And
yeah, oh
You
yeah.
actually, if you were a real Cheap Trick fan, you actually had to count the guitars as he was bringing them out. I think I
Yeah.
got up to like 46 or something like that night. But I'm sure his collection has gotten way bigger since then. But
Oh yeah, oh yeah. Have you seen Steve Vai's guitar collection?
yeah,
Oh my God, that
Yeah.
is unbelievable.
Steve Vai, I know Rick Nielsen has one of the largest guitar collections. And of course, Eric Clapton. Those
Oh,
are the
yeah.
3 that I think have the largest collections.
Yeah.
You
Zach
we can't
Wild,
forget
he's
about
probably-
maybe Keith Richards, but
Zach Wild, he's probably building a pretty good collection, especially
Oh,
where he's
yeah.
got the signature models.
yeah, it's amazing how the guitar, because I'm a lover of the guitar. I can't play it, but I am a lover of the instrument.
Yeah.
But there's so many collectors.
Oh yeah.
It's
Actually-
just unbelievable.
Actually, when I was in the States back in May, every time I go to the States, I go straight to Guitar Center. It's 20 minutes from where my brother lives, and so I go there and I ended up picking up. I've got a Washburn guitar that I've had for years, and I saw a used Jackson guitar,
Wow.
and I picked that up, and my brother's like, the hell you doing with that? You don't play guitar. And I said, well, one of these days I'm going to learn. I'm slowly in the process of learning. And I said, it's primarily for the band. It's like when we go to Medellin, we're going to take it with us as a backup guitar. Cause like
Right.
my guitarist played the other night, and while he was playing, he broke a string and he didn't have spare strings on him. So I
Yeah.
said, rather than sit there in the middle of a show, taking time to change strings, just bring another guitar, and then they could just switch out guitars, just have it tuned, ready to go.
Yeah. You always got to have that backup.
Yeah.
Because you never know.
Yeah. Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah.
Let's
So-
talk a little bit about, now you said you had two members, one older guitar players coming back, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit more about them.
Leo, the one that's coming back, he lives in Barranquilla, and he graduated from university up there for guitar. But he's huge in the progressive metal and stuff like that. But he's willing to take on the 80s rock and roll, what we're aiming for, and phenomenal guitar player. Unbelievable. Like when we played at Hard Rock, we were sitting here the day of the show, and he said, Ron, what's the matter? I said, I'm nervous. We got to friggin' play tonight, and we haven't even rehearsed with you. And we sat here and rehearsed for 2.5 hours. He didn't even know some of the songs. He had them all down.
Wow.
We
That's
played
pretty
the show.
good.
We played the show, and I had a different guitarist at the time, and they switched out the solos and everything. It was unbelievable. And so he's a phenomenal guitarist. And then the other one that I've got here, Camacho, here in Cartagena, graduated from Berkeley's right there. He's no
Right there,
guitar.
he's got the chops.
Yeah, and with these two together, and even my singer said, with these two together, it's just going to be unlimited of where we can go with the sound we're going to produce.
Right.
And plus, Leo, the one from Barranquilla, plays keyboard. He played in a band up in a club they were a club band up in Barranquilla. All he did was play keyboards. And I'm like,
wow.
this is, I mean, here you got this talent and phenomenal guitar player, and you got to play keys. So with these two, we're going to switch out. I mean, we're not going to have a designated lead guitarist and a designated rhythm guitarist.
Right.
We're going to switch out, like, say, Rat, Round and Round. We've been working on that song, and how Warren DeMartini and Robin Crosby switched out on the guitar solo.
Right.
These two can do that. I was just talking with the band, like when we perform next weekend, have the two guitarists up there and just do a solo back and forth.
Yeah. Well, why don't you tell the viewers, we might even have some in your area. Tell us exactly where you're playing at next weekend.
Friday night, we're playing at Dopamina Rock Bar in Medellin. And then Saturday night, we're playing at Club Libido in Medellin as well. And Dopamina only holds about 100 people, but I was talking with the owners. I went there at the beginning of December, checked out the club and everything. And it's right across the street from the train station. And the owner said, sometimes people just get up and leave and more people come. And I'm thinking we'll probably end up packing that place. Because I've advertised on Facebook, and we're getting a lot of responses and stuff. And then Club Libido, it's like an underground club, and they hold 300 people. Hopefully we can pack that place. We're playing with another band out of Medellin, Red Steel. It's a glam metal band. And I mean, they dress the part, spandex, everything.
Cool. That stuff is coming back, man.
Oh yeah. Yeah. I've got the like the bad boy look when we play, the black t-shirt, the vest. I wear leather cowboy hat, the boots, the buckled boots and everything. I'm like the Nikki Sixx of the band.
You got to look that part, man. That's for sure. That's great. So you're going to play those two places. You're working on the EP,
Yeah.
right? You're going to start recording some stuff for that. What's the timeline on that you're giving the band?
Well, I've been pushing this, and it's hard getting the singer. Before it was hard getting the singer down here because he lives in Barranquilla and he's in multiple bands up in Barranquilla.
Right.
This is his job. He doesn't work. Singing is his job. So every weekend he's performing, but he wants this to go forward 100%. And I was
Right.
talking to him the other day about possibly getting a promoter. Hopefully, when we play, maybe somebody will come up, hey, I'm a promoter or agent or something, and that might. But I told him, I said, once we start playing, that's just going to open doors for us.
Oh yeah, for sure.
We
I mean-
played at Hard Rock down here in Cartagena. After the show, it was probably 20, 30 minutes, people just coming up to the stage, getting photos with us. This one guy came up, gave us his business card. He says, you guys need to contact me ASAP. It was a record promoter, but he lived in another country. So
Yeah.
we
You
couldn't
want
really
to
do
stick
it.
with people that you can do, like work with on a local level as well as a
Yeah.
national level, but
Yeah, because like actually, I've got a buddy that's in a different band in Medellin. And when I went out there beginning of December, I was hanging out with him and everything. And we got talking, and a place that they record at, he said it costs 400,000 pesos, which is probably around $80 to record, mix, and master
wow, that's good. That's a good
for a
price.
song. Yeah. And here in Cartagena, it's about 800,000 just to record and mix.
Wow.
That's not, then you got to pay for mastering.
Yeah.
In 800,000 pesos, here is about $160 or so, like something like that. So I was talking with the guys in the band. I said, once we get these songs down, 4 songs, let's just all go to Medellin. We'll get a friggin' house or a hotel, and we'll just spend a week. Just go there for a week. We'll just spend a week recording and then getting everything done, and then we can come back and wait for the results from the after they mix and master it.
Right. I mean, that's a good timeline, at least to give yourself. I mean, things like this do take time, you know, and like a lot of bands that I've been interviewing over the past, I think probably 2 years since pandemic, you know, they had all this time to write, and they're still in a writing process now, of course, but yeah.
Yeah.
And bands are
Yeah,
anxious to get
I
on
just,
the road.
it's with me, I mean, this song that I just wrote, Valkyrie Take Me to Valhalla, that just came out of the spur. I've been watching, I've watched Last Kingdom, Uhtred de Bettenberg. I've watched that twice. I'm watching Vikings for the second time.
Right.
And actually we rehearsed the guitars from Cartagena, the drummer, myself. We just rehearsed a couple weeks ago, and the guitarist just came up with the riff, and we just started jamming to it. And then afterwards, I wrote this song, and I got to thinking that riff would fill in perfectly with this song. It's got a good heavy metal sound to it and everything.
Cool.
And so, and
I can't wait to hear it.
I talked to Camacho about it. I said, that riff you came up with, I said, we ought to put that in the song. He's like, that sounds like a good idea. So that might end up being the riff for that.
Yeah, it sounds like you guys have a really good mix. You work well together. So,
Yeah.
I mean, this is definitely going to be a great project for you.
Oh yeah. It's been a fight just to try to, 'cause I mean, a lot of musicians play in multiple bands down here.
Oh yeah.
And just trying to get people dedicated. Oh, let's do a rehearsal. No, I've got a rehearsal with this band.
And you know what? I mean, in the
I've
2
got
years,
something going on with this band. I'm playing with this band.
right. In the 2 years that
So
I've been doing this, and the bands that I've talked to, that's their practice now. Just because you're in one band doesn't really mean you're fully committed.
Yeah.
My friend Sam Bam Colton, I don't know if you know who he is. He is a guitarist for Faster Pussycat. Dorothy.
Okay, yeah. Yeah,
Butterside, LA Guns. He just recently played with them, and he is in 5 bands.
oh, yeah.
Butterside, LA Guns, Faster Pussycat. I mean, and the list goes on. I mean, I had a conversation with him, and he told me that it's going to be a really hard decision for him to make this in 23 about which bands he's going to absolutely commit to.
Yeah. I mean, there's another band here that wants me to play with them. And I mean, when I was in the States, September, October, they played a couple shows. I'm good friends with the singer and everything. But I mean, he keeps saying, hey, we're going to play this date. We're going to play this date. Nothing ever comes about it. But I mean, my focus mainly is with Living Dreams. That's
Right.
my brand. I mean, I formed this band. I want this to go huge and just trying to get people to commit 100%. And I think they're starting to realize now, 'cause I mean, I've been doing all the promoting. I've been doing all the advertising. I've been you would not believe the amount of emails that I have sent clubs to in different cities for us to try to play at and everything. And a lot of them probably think, who the hell's this gringo trying to play here and everything. And so the more songs we get, and once we start playing, we'll have more videos uploaded on our YouTube and stuff. And then it's like on my email, I've got all the friggin' channels to all those platforms. And
Have
stuff.
you ever, have you ever considered doing a live stream concert broadcast?
I've thought about it.
Twitch?
With Twitch, I've never really messed with Twitch before.
Okay, but there's different platforms you can do it
Yeah.
on. That might be something you might want to consider.
Like when we play at Medellin next weekend, we're gonna have people taking videos and stuff of the songs and then post those onto YouTube, TikTok,
Right.
down here. They've got another one, Kauai, which is
Okay.
it's like a TikTok down here in South America.
Okay.
Posted on there, posted on our Facebook, the whole 9
Right.
yards.
I mean,
Different
just getting your band's name out there, getting
Yes.
the music out there.
Yeah.
You know?
There's a bar up in Massachusetts. I was up there when I was up there in May of last year. I went there and saw a band play, and I was talking with the guy at the door, and he was the one in charge of bringing bands in. I said, well, I got a band. I'm down in Columbia. I've got a band down there. And he says, it's going to be hard for you to come up here because you don't have a following or anything. And this was on a Friday night. Sunday, he messaged me. He's like, when are you guys coming to America? Evidently listened to our music or saw our videos on YouTube. He said, when the hell are you guys coming up here? He said, I want you guys to play here.
Yeah.
Which
I mean,
made me feel great.
Building your following is going to be really important.
Yes.
Being at all platforms is important.
Yeah, because like
I know it's a lot of work, but I deal with a lot of these bands. I promote a lot of these bands. And
like on Facebook, we've got 8,500 people following us on Facebook.
Right.
That's our biggest one right there.
Yeah, that's huge.
And we've got
it's
South
not
America.
a job.
I mean, I paid for advertising to get people to follow us and stuff with the ads and stuff. And I mean, I'm getting messages from people, Argentina, Chile, Brazil, Ecuador, Peru, Mexico. When are you guys going to come play here? When are you going to play here? And so we can't really leave the country until we've got something solid.
Yeah. I've interviewed a lot of bands, and one's called Hit the Noise. I don't know if you heard of them, but they just opened up for Kiss on the leg of the, I think it's the Argentinian tour towards Brazil. They just did the whole show, all the shows there.
Wow.
They're an amazing band too. They're from that region of the country. There's bands that I've talked to that are going to have a hard time getting out. Girish and the Chronicles is another great band
Oh, they are awesome.
from the
India?
Middle East. I
India.
actually was in contact with them multiple times. I mean, they actually were fully committed to be on my show. And the next day they signed with Frontier Records. So again, I mean, this is just, it's a phenomenon.
Yeah, they're touring Europe right now.
Yeah, they're amazing, amazing
are.
band.
They are. That singer's got some pipes on him.
Oh yeah. I would love to see that band come to the States. Will
Yeah.
it happen? Probably not, unfortunately.
You never know. Look at Burning Witches.
Yeah.
They're from Sweden. They just played down here in Colombia, and they just played a few, probably a half dozen shows or so in the States.
Yeah, I mean, again, you know,
Yeah.
getting your music out there is the number one important
Yeah.
thing, and getting people like myself and other followers to help you.
Yes.
A lot of these bands think that social media is not important. I'm going to repeat the same thing that I said in a recent interview with Ditcher Santiago. I said to him, if you're in a band and you're not into social media, you're
not gonna
dead in
make
the
it.
water. Dead in the water.
They don't have record stores all over the place like they did back in the 80s.
Right.
And I mean, social media is free.
Yeah. And again, you have to have everybody on your team on board with this, because you can't expect one person to do all the social media.
Oh, believe
It's
me,
impossible.
I have been talking to the guys because I created the flyer for us. I mean, you saw the flyer.
Right.
I created the flyer for us, and I telling the guys, post this on your social media, hashtag everything you can, Medellin.
Right. Exactly.
I'm the only one that's doing everything.
Again, you know, some people are just not into social media. I had a long conversation with this talk show host. You know, social media is something that not everybody is into.
Yeah.
You know, fortunately it's part of my business. It's part of my promoting bands and being a rock journalist. It's really my thing, my niche. Yeah. I think I'm good at it. You know, it's getting people to notice your band. Hashtags,
yeah.
You know, are super important.
When we get off here, I'm going to give you contact. I can send you contacts to some of my buddies too, that musicians up and coming.
Yeah, because the whole thing is, what guitars do you guys use?
The Camacho, the one that lives here, he's got a Fender Stratocaster.
Okay.
Leo uses a LTD.
Okay.
And so I've got the Jackson.
Right. Okay. So super important when you're tagging, tag Jackson. Tag.
Yeah.
Every guitar or instrument that you play.
Yeah.
You use them in a hashtag.
Yeah.
Okay. Number one, it's going to get your band attention. Number two, the company is going to be looking. Okay, who are these guys?
Yeah.
That's I can give you that tip. That's super, super important.
Yeah, because this is my little baby here.
Yeah, the Fender Jackson, man.
Yeah, Dave Ellefson.
Yeah, David Ellefson.
Yeah.
It's funny you mentioned David Ellefson. I've met him years ago, but I'm actually friends with Jeff Young and David Ellefson. I know David Ellefson, but I'm friends with Jeff Young. And I actually took pictures for the Kings of Thrash at their show here in Vegas. And two of my pictures were selected for the new cover of the new Mega Years record.
Wow. That's awesome.
It's super, super cool. Super
cool. I've got another Jackson bass, JS2, that I used to use. I pretty much just use that one for practicing because this is active. So it takes a 9-volt battery. And rather than burning through batteries, I'll just use the other one just to practice. But lately,
Right.
I just changed strings on this one yesterday, and I've been practicing with this just for the sound for next weekend. Just adjusting my pedals and everything for the sound that I want for next weekend.
Yeah,
So,
I love guitars, but yeah, I mean, doing what you guys are doing is great because, like I said, you got my attention.
that's awesome. That is awesome that you just happen to hear us on
Right.
Spotify.
And I mean, this happens a lot. You know, I mean, I have TikTok, but bands find me, which is great
awesome.
because I might not have heard of them. And I mean, I love it because I listen to all kinds of music. People ask me this all the time. Do you listen totally to heavy metal? No. I listen to everything.
Shit,
Everything.
I've sat down and just listened to the classical, Sebastian Bach, Beethoven. I mean,
Exactly.
I listen to everything except for I'm not big into country and I'm not big into this new rap. I mean, Run DMC, Beastie Boys, I love that rap.
They're the originators.
Yes, I love that stuff. And
Yeah.
I mean, I love like Richie Valens, Elvis, 50s, 60s, but I never really got into country music, and I can't stand this new rap. I mean, all I do is downgrade women, talk bad about the police and everything. And
well, it's like what I grew up on. I grew up on Johnny Cash. This is really going to blow your mind.
I do like Johnny Cash because I don't consider him straight country.
Johnny Cash, Conway Twitty.
Yeah.
I mean, the list goes on and on.
That country is a different type of country than modern country. Like the rap. The rap changed so much. I mean, I like Johnny Cash, Conway Twitty, and them. And shit, I remember when I was a kid.
Willie Nelson.
Yeah. What the hell was that song about the trucker on the CB? Teddy Bear. Oh,
yeah.
Teddy Bear. I listen.
I remember that song.
I've actually got the album, Greatest Country Hits, with that song on it.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, if you really look back on country music as a whole, that's a big stamp in rock and roll.
Oh yeah, it is. Yeah. I mean,
big influences.
Even back the old Delta blues and stuff, like Muddy Waters, Robert Johnson, stuff like that. I mean, if it wasn't for them, I mean, they were pretty much the inventors of the modern rock and roll.
Stevie Ray Vaughan. I mean,
yeah.
I mean, crazy.
Like Steve Vai,
Fabulous Thunderbirds. That was another great band.
Yeah. Stray Cats.
Yes.
I mean, just different types of styles of rock and roll. It all pretty much falls in the same genre. It's just different styles.
Yeah, different styles, all kind of molded together.
Yeah.
And I think rock is making a comeback, especially 80s rock.
Yeah.
I made that prediction last year on my year-end show, and
I was actually looking today.
With
Jeff Tate's playing down here on January 29th in Bogota. I was actually looking today about getting tickets. And then next month, Def Leppard and Motley Crue are coming down.
Yeah, definitely. I just saw Jeff Tate for the second time, and I got to talk to Kiernan Robertson and Alex Hart. And they are two of the greatest guitar players I have ever seen live. I mean, I've seen a lot of guitar players, but these two individuals together, it's like gasoline and fire mixed.
Yeah.
I mean, they're so cool. They're great guys.
I saw Jeff Tate when he was in Queensryche back in '86. He opened up for AC/DC. I was going to school with the military down in Texas, in San Antonio. And the night I graduated, they were playing in San Antonio. And it was Who Made AC/DC on their Who Made Who tour. And I said, who the hell's Queensryche? And I bought the cassette Rage for Order. And that was something totally different, the sound of it. And I just fell in love with it. I love
Yeah.
that. That's my favorite album, Queensryche.
Oh my God. Jeff Tate his voice is amazing.
It
This
is.
show he puts on, you should definitely go. It's
Yeah.
totally worth it. He has been consistent. I mean, I've seen him twice now. I saw him in 2021. I saw him in 22. I mean, the show is totally, absolutely worth every single dime that you're
Yeah, he
paying.
had a problem with throat cancer or something for a while, didn't he?
That was a long time ago.
Yeah.
Yeah. He sounds great though.
God,
Sounds
his
great.
voice is phenomenal.
Yeah, I just recently saw the Motley Crue Def Leppard tour here with
Yeah.
Poison.
Yeah,
it
Poison's
was-
not playing down here because I guess Bret Michaels is doing his solo tour.
Yeah, they're going back on the road as a band. So I'm looking forward to that. They're definitely a party band. I've seen them 5 times.
I heard that Poison blew everybody away on that.
Oh, yeah.
that show.
I mean, I could tell you, I mean, I kind of gave my review for the end of the year on that show. I didn't say anything negative, but I can tell you right now, Poison killed it. Joan Jett killed it. Okay.
Yeah, I've seen
Def
her.
Leppard was good, but I'm gonna leave it at that.
Yeah. Yeah, I've heard so many bad reviews about Motley Crue with the having the backline music. And I saw the video,
Again,
Tommy Lee getting onto his drum set, and the drums were already playing.
yeah, I mean, again, with respect for the band,
Yeah,
I decided not to comment on that show.
yeah,
I think not commenting says
yeah,
the word that,
yeah,
just,
Yeah.
nothing to say about that part of the show.
yeah. But
But but 23 is going to bring some amazing music your way as well.
oh yeah, and hopefully we can get some opening acts for some of these shows. It's
Yeah.
weird down here because it's like when I last year I submitted for us to perform at Rocco Parque. It was last week in November and the first weekend in December. It was 2 weekends, and by the time I submitted the paperwork, they had already had all the bands set and everything. And they
Yeah.
said, go ahead and resubmit your paperwork in January. But I was also looking because like Striper came down here, and you actually got to go through the city of Bogota to open. They got to approve you to open for certain bands coming down here touring. I've never heard
Crazy.
it. Yeah. I mean, some places you contact the venue, like if it's a smaller arena, but a smaller club, but like Movistar Arena, the big, where they have all the big, huge concerts, you got to go through the city for something like that.
It's crazy.
Yeah. And the way they do things down here is
Yeah. I mean, it's a lot different than the States, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, this is the last question I always ask the band when they're on. Is there an artist, dead or alive, who would you like to have a dream collaboration with?
Randy Rhoads.
And why?
He died at 25 years old, and guitarists to this day coming up are trying to emulate him, trying to play his style. I mean, he only played for professionally with Quiet Riot and Ozzy 4 or 5 years. He was with Quiet Riot first. I think started out in 77 and then switched to Ozzy, and he died in 82. So 5 years, and look at the influence that he had on the total music scene. I mean, I saw yesterday, just scrolling through Facebook, lists of the top guitarists, Jimi Hendrix, Jimmy Page, and stuff like that. Randy Rhoads wasn't included in any of those. And he died at 25 years old. He would have been, the hell was it, 60, 65 or 66. I've talked with his sister a few times too. And what he did in the 5 years, can you imagine if he was still alive, what he would have done with the music scene?
It would be totally off the hook if he was
Oh,
still
yeah.
around.
I mean, he didn't do the tapping like Eddie Van Halen did or anything, but the harmonics that he would play. And I think Jakey Lee and Zach Wild both played with Ozzy after Randy. And I mean, their style is so similar to Randy. I mean, of course, probably Ozzy and Sharon, hey, this is what you got to sound like.
Right.
And probably when people auditioned to join the band, that was what they were looking for, that sound. So right there, that created the sound for Ozzy Osbourne.
Right.
He was with Ozzy for what, 2 years before he
Signature
passed?
sound.
Yes, he created that, and look how big he had Ozfest. I mean,
Right.
had a festival
It's
named after him.
crazy.
Yeah.
Well, it was great having you on.
I
Thank you
appreciate it. This
so
was awesome.
much. I hope you had fun.
Oh, I did. And I look forward, hopefully later on, maybe this summer, get the whole band together and we can do something like this.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. And I can't wait to hear your new music.
Yeah.
So I'd like to hear it first.
Hey, no problem. I'll send you some audios once we get stuff recorded, but
That's great.
Hopefully within the next couple months, we can get the stuff recorded and get it up on the
definitely.
platforms.
And keep in touch. I'm going to be on the road everywhere this spring and summer. I'm going back to my hometown in Joliet, Illinois for the first Kings of Thrash show in the US in February. So I'm super excited. I'll be doing some live remotes. Hopefully Jeff and I can sit and talk a little bit, talk to the band. This is really prolific for me because it is my hometown area.
Yeah.
So I'm super excited about it. And you'll see me throughout the year. You never know where I'm going to be.
Like, you've got my WhatsApp number.
No, I don't. I think you might have sent it to me. You can send it to me again.
Yeah, and that's the best way to communicate with me is through WhatsApp.
I know. I don't even know what that is, but I'll figure it out.
Actually, Zuckerberg created it.
Yeah.
That's all they use down here. I've been all over the world with the military and everything.
Yeah.
Everywhere I go, everybody's using WhatsApp.
Well, I guess I'm going to have to get WhatsApp.
Yeah, it's you just download it. It's free, and everything's encrypted. So, I mean, here I am talking about WhatsApp now, but everything's encrypted. So when you send
a free plug, shameless plug.
Nobody else can read the messages.
Okay, that's cool. I like that.
Yeah, it's pretty good. And that's all everybody uses down here.
Right. Well, definitely keep in touch, and I wish you the best of luck. Get that band together, get solid, get on the road. Come to the US.
Send me your address and your shirt size. I'll send you one of our shirts.
Okay, I totally will do that.
I just had these made up in the States.
Oh, I love it. Very cool. Oh, I love that even more. That's awesome.
Yeah, because I used to ride motorcycles in the States.
Yeah.
And I've got I belong to a motorcycle club with the military veterans organization. And I've got my vest here, and I just ordered patches with like that. I'm going to put them.
Oh, that's awesome. The patches
on my vest here for when we play.
That's cool.
Yeah, send me your address and your shirt size, and I'll send.
I will.
I've got shirts in the States, and so I'll get a shirt sent out to you.
Okay, thank you so much. I love your music, and I can't wait to hear some new stuff.
Okay, I appreciate it. Yeah, once we get it recorded, I'll send it your way. And
okay, yeah, keep in touch. Yeah, keep following me. Like I said, you never know where I'm going to end up next.
Yeah, no kidding. Hopefully that's the same with us.
I know, right?
Yeah.
Well, take care. We'll talk soon.
Sounds good. Appreciate everything. Have a good night.
Yeah, you too. Thank you.
Okay. Good night.
Uh-huh. Wow, what a great band, Living Dreams. Can't wait to hear the new music coming from them sometime soon, which is going to be great for all of us to hear that. And things that are coming up, like I said, for me, I will be in Joliet, Illinois for the first Kings of Thrash show in Joliet, Illinois in February. I think it's February 15th, or no, not 15th, 16th. So it's a Thursday. So looking forward to that. And lots of things coming up. You never know where I'll end up next. So hit the like button, subscribe, and future guests in the next few weeks are going to be Peter Cat of Playhouse, along with Mr. Doug Franklin. I'm going to be interviewing Mr. Jeffrey Carlson. Super cool. Can't wait to talk to him. The Greed will be making an appearance, and as well as Faith in Failure. And in early March, I will be interviewing Mr. Corey Brown. And I'm definitely going to be interviewing one of my Texas buddies, Mr. Justin Ross, is coming up soon. So stay tuned. Thank you for following. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you next time.